Yeah. Man, we're gonna get into things and prayer. All right. And how the Feast of Time is pretty much it's one of the most important holy days, but actually one of the three most important holy days, right? So we're gonna get into that, man. Hopefully, it don't be too long in the trial. We speak through a lot of things, but hopefully we can get through it. All right. So the first scripture we're gonna go to, right? We're gonna go to Leviticus 23 and verse 42. And we're gonna read down to verse 42.
Somebody funking? Yeah, somebody funking. We gotta take a picture of it. It's a, yeah,
Yeah. So we're gonna read off the first verse in Leviticus 23, starting at verse 42. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feasts of the Lord. So right there, that really explains why we took the feast right there. Right? It says we're supposed to be sitting back and remembering, right, the journeys that the Israelites went through and how they were well in boots, right? In order for us to remember that, we got to understand how did when he got us out of Egypt, how did he get us out of Egypt? You know what I'm saying? We got to focus on that. And then we got to focus on the journey. So we're not going to get to the journeys. I'm going to go through, but we ain't going to go through all of it. That's a long read, right? So let's go to Exodus 14 and 21 first. Look at Exodus chapter 14 and verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. So right here, I'm just pretty much want to paint a picture, right, of us leaving Egypt. This is towards the end, after all the plagues. This will happen right after we left Egypt. So this is one of the reasons, or one of the things we want to dwell on the Feast of Tab, right? On how we left, what happened. You know what I'm saying? How he destroyed our enemies right in front of us. And at the same time, we were singing about it, right? It was a joyous thing. All right, let's go to, you read down 23? Read down 23. Verse 22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them in the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. So right there, as they walking through dry land, right, the Most High made the water stand up and allowed Israel to walk through it, right? So as they're walking through, the Egyptians that kept them in captivity was like, nah, we ain't letting you go. Now we about to kill you.
because of what your God did to us, right? So now let's go to Exodus 15:1. Doing all this, as they walking through this, as the Egyptians is behind them, they walking through this. This is what they doing right here.
With the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord.
They singing a song unto the Lord, right? Read.
And spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captives also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. And the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against you. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together, the blood stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with the wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in fullness, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation. The people shall fear, the people shall hear, and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestine. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab tremble, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thy arm, they shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over. O Lord, the people pass over, which thou hast purchased. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which the hands have established. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For the horse of Pharaoh went in his chariot and with his horsemen into the sea. And the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea.
So right there, that was the song that they were singing in praise of what the Most High was doing. And right after that, this is one of the reasons why we have to keep the tabernacle, right? Because once they got from that Red Sea, where'd they go? They went to a place called Sukkot. Do anybody know the different names of tabernacles? Anybody? Y'all can shout it out. It's only two. It's a few, but biblically, it's two names that tabernacles is called. The Feast of Ingathering, right? What's the other one? The call, right? And I want to say ironic, what is profound, or with the Most High infinite wisdom, Jacob, right before he met the angel to change his name, the reason why it's even called Sukkot, because he landed there and he set up his tent. And then he called it Sukkot. And that's the first place Israel went when they got out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the Most High infinite wisdom. But what I'm bringing out here is just literally during this time, we got to remember this, right? Yes, we're gonna do festivals. what is it? Festival? Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time, right? But we also want to remember what our ancestors went through and how they got out of it, right? So now let's go to this Numbers 33, 1 through 49. Whenever y'all get a chance and y'all, in the tents, y'all kind of bored, y'all can't sleep or whatever, check this out, right? We're not going to read it because this is a very long read, but it's Numbers 33, 1 through 49, right? What is it speaking about? It's speaking about the journeys that Israel took in the wilderness, all the places that they was at and what they had to go through, right? It's like a little small summary, right? But we're just going to read verse 1 and 2.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 33 and verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their going out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their going out.
So it was a commandment to keep track of this, keep record of what, of their going out. They're going out of Egypt and they're going a month in that journey for 40 years, right? In the midst of that 40 years, man, we went through many lands, right? We had received the laws, we had wars, we even had some treaties against, with some nations. We also had treason, I said that wrong, right? Treason, so I like it. Treason. We also had a lot of purging going on and cleansing before Joshua actually ended up becoming the head of the congregation, and then he ended up giving the lands to the people, right? So now, I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Let's get a glance of the future. Now, when we are following the Most High laws and commandments, especially the ancient time when the Israelites was following it, man, it was a beautiful thing. The other nations, even though they try to curse it was a beautiful thing. He couldn't even do it. Even he's seen the beautiful thing that the Most High had created. Right? Let's go to Numbers 24. We're going to read from 1 to 9.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 24, starting at verse 1. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents, according to their tribe.
Before I can tell up real quick. So this is the instance with Balak and Balaam. Right? Balak went to Balaam and said, I want you to pray for Israel because of their God, or the things that I hear they're going to come and take my kingdom. And I need you to curse them. Right? So he went to this so-called prophet and said, I want you to look over there to the mountains and I want you to curse these people. So we're going to start at verse 1 again.
And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel.
So he couldn't even curse them. He went up there to curse them, but he couldn't do it because the Most High showed him a vision about his people. Read.
He went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents, according to their tribes. And the Spirit of God came upon him.
So when we in order according to the Most High God, this is what happens to the other nations. They can't touch it. They have to bless it. You know what I'm saying? When we are keeping the laws and commandments, when we are keeping the feast days, when we actually doing the things that we're supposed to do, they can't touch us, right? Read.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, has said, and the man whose eyes are open has said, he has said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of lying aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedar trees besides the water. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. And his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He had, as it were, the strength of the unicorn. And he shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with arrows. He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee.
When we align ourselves with the Most High God, this is what happens. When somebody is out for our hurt, they can't even do it. We in the wilderness at this time. We just started to get the commandments. We just started following orders. Like he just said here, we doing it according to our scribe. So just picture that. A couple of million people lined up in order in their tribes. And he can't do harm to them. He wants to curse them, but he can't. He has to bless them because he understands that what the Most High showed them is the people that was going to be in order. Like they said, when we keep the laws, I think it's Deuteronomy 4:6. He said, when we keep the law, statutes, commandments, the other nations going to see how wise is this nation. What judgments that they have, how they have God so near unto me, right? So just read verse 10 because this is funny.
Verse 10. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times.
3 times. He wanted them to curse him, but he blessed them 3 times, man. So once we really get in order, this would be feast days for us to see how our ancestors did it. Look, we got it better than our ancestors because we get to practice. They had to go right in that thing. You know what I'm saying? They had to learn on the fly. We get to practice this thing before the house shall return. You know what I'm saying? And be willfully doing it until we have to do it for real. Right? So let's go to Zechariah 14:16. This is another glance in the future. Even though that was in the past about how Balaam's supposed to curse Israel, at the same time, there's other nations that's going to do that. And they even doing that to this day. Right? But they can't. So we're going to go to Zechariah 14:16 to see another glance in the future.
Zechariah 14, verse 16. All right. The book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left out, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which shall come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
I don't want y'all to miss that. Read verse 16 again. Right.
And it shall come to pass.
For all the people that's out there that believe that all nations are going to be saved, this is, you know what? It is going to be some people that's going to be living in this earth. Right. And this is what they're going to be doing. Read.
And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles.
They're going to be giving us tax. That's taxes. Every year, they're going to be coming paying tribute. Every single year, as they keep it. And if they don't do this,
and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
It's going to create a famine on them, right? Read.
And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles.
I don't know why they go to all these stranger scriptures, but they don't want to go to that scripture. You know what I'm saying? That the Most High is going to smite the heathen. But they say, oh, Christ died for everybody, but we don't have to keep the feast days. But it says right here, it says right here, the Most High will kill the heathen for not keeping one feast day. Right, go ahead.
25.
Going to the book of Luke, chapter 19, starting at verse 25.
Verse 26.
Verse 26. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. But those my enemies, which would not that I shall reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
And that's just what Christ was talking about, the same thing what we were just reading in Zechariah, going over back in the Old Testament. Because if the other nations don't bow down and obey, he said they're going to slay them from you. You know, bring them hither, right? So you got to obey. When we are in order and the nations don't follow us, they have to bow down to the sword. Because we are God's little minions. We are the one that's supposed to govern the earth. So it's the same thing. If they don't keep tabernacles, they don't keep anything. God's going to slay them from it. We're going to bring them in front of Christ, and we're going to slay them in front of him. You know, and that's a pleasure to the Most High God and to his Son, and it should be a pleasure to us because we're supposed to be obedient in keeping this day. All right?
So now we're gonna, now we had a glance in the future of, we still gonna be keeping the feast day, right? But the people that say, oh man, you can't keep the feast of tabs because you're not even going to the land. Well, as we already read before, they already kept the feast of booths when it was in the wilderness. And that's just us remembering the law, statutes, commandments, remembering the feast day, right? So now, if somebody comes to you and say, yo, well, Christ died, we don't supposed to keep it. You go to that scripture in Zechariah and say, well, even when Christ returns, we're going to be keeping it. You know what I'm saying? So it don't make any sense for us not to keep the feast day, right? So now let's go to Ezra chapter 3. Because now I'm just going to get two examples of the Israelites rejoicing to keep the tabs, right? Because it's different, but it's not a grievous thing to do. It is different. It definitely takes you out the comfort zone, right? But at the same time, if we also remember what our ancestors had to go through in the wilderness, man. You know what I'm saying? It's snakes, animals, all types of scorpions, all types of things that they had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So for us, man, this is easy for us, right? Let's go to Ezra chapter 3. We're gonna read verse 1 down to 4.
It's the book of Ezra, chapter 3, starting at verse 1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Josedek, and his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it was written in the law of Moses, the man of God. And they set the altar upon his basis, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord, even burnt offerings morning and evening.
So remember that, right? The morning and evening offerings. That we're gonna be touching on that as well. But this is after the Babylonian captivity, right? But they're allowed to start to do that a little bit, right? Read verse 4. This is what they end up finding out, right? Read.
They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required.
So they just didn't find the scripture that said, oh, you got to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it was like, oh, nah, we don't. You know what I'm saying? It says it in here, but I don't think we got to. No, they literally seen that and was like, yo, we got to keep this. Let's do it. Let's try our best to do this feast day, right? Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 14.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, starting at verse 14. And they found written in the law, which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. and that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, Go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches, and pine branches, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees, to make booths, as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God.
Hey, read that part again. They was on the roof of their house. Yo, they weren't playing no games. Read that again.
So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts,
In the front yard, the backyard,
and in the courts of the house of God,
they was even near the tabernacle or the temple at that time. Read.
and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim,
Read verse 17. That's the key point of it.
and all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths.
So out of their captivity, they remembered that they had to keep the law of tabernacle. And they didn't make an excuse and say, you know what, I want to live, I'm free, I want to live life. You know what I'm saying? I want to do this, I want to do that. They like, you know what, we still do got to serve the Lord. The Most High, when we got out of Egypt, I want to say force it on us, but we had to do it. Now it's a will. Now it's a willful thing now. You know what I'm saying? You have a decision to say, you know what, I don't want to keep the feast of tax. That's your decision. Keep that at the end of the time, and make sure you remember that. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to be willing to keep the feast of tax. All right. Once you find out that you have to do it to the best of your ability. As you increase, you will do more. You will learn more. You will do it right. Right? You going?
And set under the booths. For since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so.
See that? The last time they kept the tabs was back when Joshua. That's the last time they kept it. That's years. What was that? Maybe over 200 years.
Hundreds of years.
So when they found out they had to keep it, they like, oh, so man, we got to do this thing. When you actually read the whole thing in chapter 8, where Ezra found the book and reading it, man, it's people weeping and crying. You know what I'm saying? He letting them know, like, yo, don't cry. This is a joyous thing. Let's just have fun. Let's keep our feast day. Go eat. Let's go have a good time. All right? Because they found out, like, yo, we supposed to be doing this and we haven't been doing it.
It's the same thing for right now. We didn't even understand that now. Now we understand we're supposed to be doing it. So everything is all nothing new under the sun. And anything over, but even hundreds of years ago again, like over 400 years or more. You know, so it's the same thing. You know, and it's still like he said, we got practice. You know what I'm saying? We can try to get it better each time, each year. Each year you should progress some kind of way. You know, either starting from the bed and putting sheets over your bed to the point where you build your tent in your home, to even to the point where you start to make it outside slowly. Get yourself out there, give it a shot, because when we do hit the wilderness, it won't be foreign to you. Only thing that's going to be foreign to us is learning how to break the branches and building them with sticks, because the tents that we got now, metal and strings attached to it, we're going to have to learn how to be creative. So at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Continue to get better at it, increase your wisdom. Because when you're doing it, the Most High going to increase your wisdom. The Most High going to continue your blessings. He's going to see you being obedient, especially right now. You know, those that's out there right now that's going to go later on and sleep, this is about to be a big test. It's cold out there. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a big test. But, hey, endure to the end, because, hey, at the end of the day, who knows what it's going to be when the Most High comes if we make it? Who knows? We have no idea. Like you said, scorpions. I ain't been around scorpions, and none of y'all probably have been around scorpions. You know, the things that we deal with is little rodents running around. But scorpions and stuff like that sting you, give you poison, snakes and all that, etc. We don't know nothing about that. But we're going to be tested. You know, so, hey, at the end of the day, I salute everyone that's doing it. You just continue to keep it. We all in it together. If you're here or there, and over here, we all together doing this. So.
You acknowledge it. That's the key. You acknowledge that you have to do it. You're doing your best to do it. That's the key right there. And like you said, the Most High will increase that. All right? I'll go ahead and
And there was very great gladness.
Once they found that out, it was very good. They wasn't sad like, well, that was 100 years ago. We ain't got to do that. That book is outdated, man. It don't have nothing to do with modern time. We ain't got to do that. Nah, man. They say, you know what? We about to do it, and we're gonna have great gladness when we do it. Right? 18.
Also, day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read in the book of the law of God.
So this is the time that we spend when y'all in y'all tents. Make sure y'all read. Make sure y'all read some laws about. If you want to read the laws, or if you want to read the stories on Exodus, you know what I'm saying? Because all this is an exit plan. All the feast days are exit plans. Once we leave and how he's going to establish us. That's all the feast days is. You know what I'm saying? So learn it, read about it. You know what I'm saying, right? Read.
And they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according unto the manner.
Time. So we already know like the different feast days and things like that. So I mean not feast days, but we already know the different names of the tablet, right? So we're just gonna jump right to the requirements of the feast, right? Let's go to Leviticus 23. We're gonna start at verse 34. And I'm just gonna show why they got Feast of Ingathering, and they also call it the Feast of Sukkot. It's sitting right there, right in our face.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be a feast of tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day.
So remember, this is what they was reading when they found out. And they hear me? I like it. This is what they was reading in Ezra when they found out. They was reading this what the brother just brought out. They was sitting there reading it and hearing it with gladness. Like, yo, this is what we gotta do. Let's do it. What animals are we about to go collect the goat? We about to go collect the lamb. We about to get everything we need, right? Let's read verse 38.
Verse 38. Beside the Sabbath of the Lord, and besides your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye shall give unto the Lord. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month.
So remember, also in the 15th day of the 7th month, read.
When ye have gathered in the fruit of the land.
When you have gathered in the fruit of the land, this is one of the reasons why it's called the end gathering, because it's the end of the harvest months. So they got to gather all, because nothing is going to grow in the wintertime. So they got to gather all their crops, stock it up, you know what I'm saying, and make sure, you know, they give the first fruits unto the Father. Right? Read.
And so look how amazing that was. We try to do that now. That stuff would be spoiled in 2 days.
Real, bro.
Don't have mold and worms on them. All right, it says, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees.
Hold on, because I want to ask a question before so do everybody understand like the first and the 8th day is a Sabbath? Right, everybody get that, like, so in the middle of it, you can buy, you can sell. So the second day, you can buy, sell, trade, you do all that stuff. But the first day and the 8th day, that's the only day that you cannot buy, sell, you know what I'm saying, work with your money, if you're able to, right? Yeah, or you might, you know, if you like it. You're like, you know what, I like it out here. So when is the 8th day? If we keeping it, what's the day? This one is perfect. All right. Hey, be honest with you, I don't know. I go to you. So if y'all would say anything, y'all would be like, yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be there you
I ain't gonna do it. I was about to sneak and look at the calendar like, but no, that's good, man. Y'all own it. That's what's up. All praise, man. So those are the 2 days that we can't buy and sell. The first and the eighth. I mean, the first day and the eighth day.
On this question, when is the last day inside the tent?
7-day evening.
But in the month on the Gregorian calendar, what day is that?
Wednesday.
Monday.
The last day in the tent.
Where's that?
Oh, it have to be Thursday.
Last night. No, I'm saying the last day in the tent wouldn't be Wednesday, right? Because you sleep. The 8th day is the 23rd, right? That's that Wednesday. So the 22nd would literally be your last day that you literally.
Oh, when you wake up.
Yeah, when you wake up.
Morning, people say.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to sit in your tent all day, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But that's the last. I should have reposed. I should have said when is the last night you sleep in your tent. So that's my fault. So go ahead.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that you don't have to the whole 7 or 8 days. You don't have to sit there like I can't buy, I can't sell, and feel bad if you do. It's just the 1st and the 8th day, right? Let's keep going. Let's read down 40.
Verse 40. So verse 40.
And this what like I was talking about.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and the willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
So just be real. How many of y'all gonna really rejoice if you can't go to Walmart and get a tent? You gotta go find some goodly trees, some goodly branches, and make you a hut. This is what our ancestors went through. And they rejoiced in that thing. That's how you know the captivity in Egypt was so rough. If you like, man, look, put me in the hut, I don't care. I'm just glad I'm away from that place. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Let's do it. And the ones that wasn't, guess what? The most I already got rid of them. Am I right? Or I think that either he already got rid of them or he's about to get rid of them because they was complaining. No, I think he already got rid of them because they was complaining about the food and stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, look at our people now. You know what I'm saying? They able to survive winters in Detroit. The homeless people, you know, and I'm talking about the ones you see underneath your bridge all the time you ride past the bus stop. They're able to survive winters. That ain't nothing but the strength of the Most High. Even though they ain't keeping commandments, they still have it internally that, hey, I know how to build my stuff. I can build me a fort. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no Jody. I mean, what's my man's name on maybe for? No, the other Snoop Dogg. I couldn't think of his name. When he knocked over his tent, ain't nobody knocking over no tents. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Most High put it in us. A lot of things are embedded in us inside these commandments. We just have to pick it up and unlock it even more. All right, we're going to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 47. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of the heart, for the abundance of all things.
And that abundance of all things, this is talking about the feast days also. You know, like they said, they knew, like, hey, we about to go cut these boughs down. We're going to cut them down. We're going to decorate it how we're supposed to get them lined up, get us all covered for the weather. They did it in gladness because they knew that the curse that was upon us, we didn't serve with gladness. We complained all through that wilderness. And we still acting like it today. You know, it's just we especially when I first came in this truth, heard about dealing with going to do Feast of Tabernacles. Everything was fine and dandy. It was the two things. It was the Sabbath that I had a struggle with, And when it came to the feast day of building a tent, I made every excuse to try to go around it. So this is a struggle. This is the year where a lot of Israel struggle with. Because hey, we ain't used to that. We used to be in a house and that's why God gotta break us down. I'm humbling you. I gotta humble you because I'm giving you everything you need in your captivity. I'm giving you warmth. I'm giving you stability. I'm giving you a foundation. I'm giving you a family in. But now let's see if you love me because I gave you all those things. Do you still love me when you gotta sleep outside? I'm gonna humble you and celebrate it as a feast day. Hey man, hey, that shows you how much we love God when we do it according to His will.
Well, what was that?
No, that's it.
Leviticus 23. Going back to Leviticus chapter 23, and I'm at verse number 41. And it shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths.
So now when your children ask you, we don't have to say, hey, because the Most High said it. Like, no. Shut up, be the 10. You know what I'm saying? Now we can say, hey, you know what? This is the reason why we're in test, is because, when our people was in Egypt, they got released from Egypt, and their journey was in the wilderness. They didn't have they was pilgrims, right? They didn't have a home. They was wanderers until they deserved it. Watch that, till they earned it. They had to earn the promised land, which a lot of them did. I think it was just two, right? 2 men, and then the women and not the women, but the children, kind of. You know what I'm saying? End up getting into the promised land. Kind of, yep. Joshua and Caleb. Yep. Go ahead and finish that up.
When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord.
Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and 16. So now we heard some of the requirements. We heard a lot about sacrificing. That was one of the main things, even when you read Ezra, right? He was saying like, yo, we got to sacrifice. We need to get the meat offerings, the drink offerings. We need all these things, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and see another requirement of this feast day.
Can I bring something out real quick? Let me ask a question for the congregation. I want to ask y'all, who in the scripture that didn't have a home, that was a pilgrimage all his life when he was walking on the earth? Yahweh. Because when you go to Luke, go to Luke 9 and 58 real quick. And it would literally tell you that. He'll say it himself. He lived as a vagabond on the earth and with all gladness and joy. He never complained. Let me make sure.
The book of Luke,
Start at verse 57.
chapter. It's the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest.
And he's like, hey, wherever you go, I will go, right? But go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head.
Right, because he traveled all the time to go out and spread the word. He didn't have a steady home. He just constantly traveled, living amongst brothers and go out there. He would travel. That's what all the Yahweh did. So hey, I'll leave it right there.
We're going to start at verse 13. Deuteronomy 16 and verse 13. Yep.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that, thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine.
So after we gather our food, like a lot of us went shopping today. Right? We gather our food. We did that. Even though. Yeah, they got the wine. Body the strong drink, you know?
I'm about to look empty on the rip. Verse 14. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son,
Even the kids, right? They're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna have wine, but they're gonna rejoice, right?
and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger,
Uh-oh.
and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates.
We gotta let the stranger in our tent too. So you might come. Like, no, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna do that. Go on in. I know, that's like it. I'm just joking.
Verse 15. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, because
That was one of the requirements. So we had to keep the feast. This is why a lot of Israelites, they would say, hey, we don't supposed to keep the feast of Tabernacles because we are outside of the place that the Most High chose. And he put his name on it. But when you read number 6, the Most High put his name on his people. So wherever we are, even in the midst of our captivity, we still keep the feast day. You know what I'm saying? So,
verse
15,
because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy increase, and in all thy works of thy hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice.
And this is what we're praying for, right? We were praying for the increase not only for ourselves, but for other brothers and sisters. And also, we also should be praying for, the tragedy that happened down in Florida and all those surrounding areas. They still out of power right now. And there's like over 2 million people down there. To hell with the Esau, the Edomites. To hell with them. But a lot of our people down there, that's Israelites, that can't keep the feast day. You know what I'm saying? They actually live like pilgrims right now. They gotta find somewhere to live. They actually living like this right now. So that's
They gotta escape alligators too.
alligators and snakes. They said I watched a little article news on that too. The lady was saying like the flood of she was like it's a few dangers. Floods of the water, it's just like the alligators and snakes. That's crazy. That's the challenge that they're going through right now. You know what I'm saying? Our people is going through. That's another thing we should keep in our prayers. It's for them. That the Most High have mercy and grace upon them.
There was a lady that also had a video and had walked in her home and had an alligator in her kitchen. That's crazy. That's sick as possible.
And Big Esau, yeah, eat that stuff.
Jump on teeth on it.
Look at this, Mike. It's a beauty. Verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. So if y'all don't have anything, get out.
Yeah. You ain't come on nothing. Thus says the Lord.
Verse 17.
Hey, real quick, do anybody for the Feast of Weeks? It says 3 times we have to appear to the Most High. Sorry. And you got unleavened bread, Feast of Weeks, and Feast of Tabernacles. So what's the Feast of Weeks?
We went over this last
I
back.
said that, not forget.
Oh, dang. God, first
Hey,
he said, what for?
bonus question. What did we have to do on first fruits? What was the requirements? It's literally the opposite of what we're doing right now. This is the end gathering, right? Of harvest. So we literally,
In a way, you're right.
in a way, in layman's terms, you're right. Right? That was literally, we had to gather up our first fruits that literally grew from when we planted them, you know what I'm saying, during those 50 days. Right? So it's literally the opposite of this.
One other. Why is it called Pentecost? You said Pentecost. Why is it called Pentecost?
50, 50,
Uh, You want me to keep going?
That of our own. So, yeah, that's it. That's it on that. So, now, how do we sacrifice? Right? Because we hear the requirements of the sacrifice. We have to go to the temple. How do we sacrifice?
No, I don't want to go to it. Y'all can write this down. Everybody should be taking notes. We're not gonna read it, but Numbers 29, starting at verse 12, right? It's literally a list, you know, day by day where we had to sacrifice. All right, 29 verse 12, going all the way down to where is that second day? Verse 32, or maybe even 33. Could be a little further than that.
35 talking about the 8th.
All right. So actually, I'm gonna just say from 12 all the way down. Right, 12 all the way down to 40. Numbers 29, verse 12, all the way down to 40. It's a list of things that our ancestors sacrificed each day. Right? So if you broke, you committing sins because you can't get all of this.
You didn't get all of it. Supposedly. So it's like, how do we sacrifice now? According to the law. Right? So we can't go out and get a lamb, slaughter it. I think it's illegal actually in Michigan to slaughter a lamb on your own land. I think you gotta have like some type of permit or something. Yeah, I don't think you can do that. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have a permit, license to literally have a million back.
Yep. Like the chickens and all that, you can't even kill them. You gotta take them to the slaughter. Like when they go deer hunting, yeah, when they go deer hunting, they can't even take it home, and they gotta take it to a butcher to cut the head off, the hinds off, and all that. So, yep, you know they do that too. What where they take it back? Yeah, I forget too, man. But so since we don't have a physical sacrifice, how else do we show our rejoice, our praise? How else do we do it? Right? All right. Well, we're gonna talk about prayer. Prayer is one of the sacrifices that yes, it's still lawful. And y'all gonna understand why I said this, right? Prayer and rejoicing with your lips, those are the things that we have to be doing during the Feast of Time, right? So let's go to Psalm 51, verse 15 down to 17. So since we can't physically give a sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, because we honor the Mosaic, the Melchizedek order, our prayers in the morning and in the evening, right? Because the Levites had to have the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice. And I pray we're going to try to walk through how they used to do that sacrifice, right? I'm trying to do it real quick. But King David understood this. He understood that the Most High didn't desire an actual killing of an animal or actual sacrifice, right? What did he desire, right? Let's go to Psalm 51, 15 through 17.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 51, verse 15. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall shew forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offerings. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, will thou not despise.
So it's being, first of all, being someone that's repenting, right? And also somebody that is willing. A prideful person is not going to have a broken heart, or what it says, a contrite heart. You have to be humble for that. You have to be very humble for that. And you have to be willing to do what the Most High wants. All right? Now we're going to kind of speed through this. Let's go to Psalms 141 and verse 2. All right, this is just another witness that King David understood this, right?
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 141, verse 2. Let my prayers be set forth before thee as incense,
Remember that as incense, right? Read.
and the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice.
Same thing we do. We face the east, we lift up our hands, and our prayers become incense unto the Father, right? Let's go to Hebrews 13, verse 15. Hebrews chapter 13, and we're gonna go to 15. We're gonna read down to 16.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 15. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not. For with such sacrifices, God is well pleased.
So to pray to the Father and to give those things to the Father, to always praise him during these 8 days, actually forever. Because Israel used to have a sacrifice every single day. They had a morning and evening sacrifice. And we're about to get into what the congregation used to do at those point in time. When it was like an alarm that went off for prayer. And the congregation came together and prayed, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 1, verse 8. And what it says, forget not, but to do good and to communicate, forget not, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased, right? Don't forget to pray. I mean, our days be busy. A lot of times we wake up, put our clothes on, we do what we gotta do, we hop out, we out the door. You know what I'm saying? And we also always forget the mercy and grace that we had just by waking up. We almost feel like it's supposed to happen, huh? Almost like it's supposed to happen. Like we're supposed to wake up, right? So we have to understand, don't forget, you do good. You're doing good by keeping the law of this commandment. But don't forget to send up some prayers, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 1, verse 8. We're going to read down to verse 11. The reason why I'm reading this part in Luke, right here is to show the custom that of what our people was doing and how they understood the morning and the evening sacrifice and what they was doing at that time, right? Read.
With the book of Luke, chapter 1, starting at verse 8. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before God in the order of his course, according to the custom of the priest's office, his lot was to burn incense.
So a high priest was the only priest that was able to burn incense, right? Read.
When he went into the temple of the Lord, and the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense.
So they knew the time that the high priest was going to light these incense. So now we're going to get an understanding of the altar of incense and the symbol of the symbolizing of the altar of incense, right? Keep going. We're going to read all the way down to 11.
Verse 11. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense.
Keep going. That was 11. You know what? Keep going. Go down to when you get your prayer.
Verse 12. And when Zacharias saw, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John.
So this angel told him, hey, your prayer was heard. Let's get Tobit 12 and 15. What angel was that came to Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist? What angel was that told him, hey, your prayers was answered, right? Let's go to Tobit 12 and 15.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 12, verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One.
So he presents the prayers that we pray every day. Raphael's the one that presents it to Yahweh, and Yahweh, he, on our behalf, give it to his Father, right? So now let's go to Acts 7 and 44. The reason why I'm going here is because we're going to get into the altar of incense. Everything was created the way the Most High wanted it to be created. What I mean by that is the Most High showed Moses a vision. He said, I want you to create the tabernacle just like you see it. And that was in heaven. So I want you to do the exact same thing you see. I want you to create it on earth, right? Read 44.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 7, and verse 44. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness.
The tabernacle of witness pretty much is the Ark of the Covenant. Or you can say the tabernacle itself, right? Read.
As he had appointed, speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen, which also our fathers that came after brought in with Yahushua into the possession of the Gentiles, whom God dried.
Number 44.
All right, so I can start over.
Yeah, read that again.
All right, verse 44. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he had appointed, speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen.
So Moses was commanded to create this tabernacle just like he's seen it, the Most High showed, right? So now one of the instruments that was in that tabernacle was the altar of incense. Now remember, he said the prayers was like incense, right? So the altar of incense, literally, go to Exodus 30, read verse 1 and 2. The altar of incense was literally placed outside of the Holy of Holies. What was in between that was the veil. And as we're going to read in Matthew, the veil was split when Yahushua sacrificed himself for our sins. So that just only symbolizes that now we are able to enter into the Holy of Holies. But guess what? We don't have a temple. So how do we enter into the Holy of Holies? Right? We are the temple. And how do we do that? By praying, right? Read. We're on Exodus 31.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 30, starting at verse 1. And thou shalt make an altar to burn incense upon of shittim wood, shalt thou make it. A cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof. 4 squares shall it be, and 2 cubits shall be the height thereof. The horns thereof shall be of the sun.
So all this is, right, is just telling you how it looks, how big it is, and what it has. It has 4 corners, which have 4 horns, right? When the priest had to go into the Day of Atonement, guess what he had to do before he entered into that? In order to anoint that thing, he had to put blood on the horns, right? Which is, as we know, the house thing, right? So let's go to Exodus 40 and 5.
You know what? Let me give you a precept.
Go ahead.
Give me Revelation chapter 8.
All right, I'm worried. I'm already in there. Yep, I got the time. Now we getting there. Yep. Let's go to Exodus 40 and 5.
Exodus 45.
Yep. Because when this altar of incense, when it was smoke, when the high priest put the incense in it, and all this smoke, guess what's separated? That veil separated from the holy. But it seeps through that veil to go into the presence of God. The presence of God was the Ark of the Covenant, right? That's why it's the Holy of Holies. The priest, the high priest, was only able to enter that one time. But the incense was able to go into it. You feel what I'm saying? Keep going. 40 and 5.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 40 and 5. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door of the tabernacle.
The hanging of the door, that was the veil, that was the curtain, right? That's just to prove that I'm just not putting this out my butt, right? This is literally the scriptures, right? It was the ark of the incense. So like the altar of incense was sitting right in front of the veil, which right behind it was the Ark of the Covenant, right? So now let's go to Exodus 25 and 22. And we're going to prove that this is talking about, the presence of God, right? 25.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 25 and 22. And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubim, which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
25, 22, where did I go?
Verse 22, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims.
So like you go to verse 21.
Verse 21, and thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. Verse 22, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
So that's the reason why that's the presence of God. That's where the Most High was going to meet with the high priest, right? Especially during Day of Atonement, right? So now let's go to Matthew 27 and 50. We're going to get the understanding of the veil being broken. Once Yahweh gave up his life, once he sacrificed for our sins, that veil ended up it ripped apart, it rent. And when that thing rent, now we are able to walk to the Holy of Holies. We are able to represent through Yahweh for ourselves, for our own sins, and to commune with the Most High. Just like it says here. No longer do we have to use a man to do it. Now Yahweh is doing it. Right? Read.
Here's the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 50. Yahweh, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top of the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
So now it's no more veil, no more. It's nothing hidden now. Now we have a mediator. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5. Now we have a mediator, a partition, not only to kind of calm down the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom beef against one another, but also for our own individual selves. We have someone that mediates for us, right? Read it.
It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 5. But there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus.
Right. Now let's go to Hebrews 4 and 14, verse 6. Because the high priest was the only one that handled the incense. So since the high priest was the only one that handled the incense, the more Yahweh is our mediator. Yahweh is our mediator, right? And now he's also the high priest, right? Hebrews 4 and 14. That handles our incense.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and 14. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into heaven, Yahweh, the Son of Yahweh, let us hold fast our profession. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmity, but also in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace.
Read that part again.
Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace.
The throne of grace is that mercy seat that we read in Exodus. That is the presence of the Lord. So he said, let us, now that we know that we have a high priest that cannot be touched with our infirmities, because remember, the high priest had to sacrifice for himself in order to sacrifice for you. Yahweh didn't have to do this. He sacrificed one time and that's it. So now he said, now that you have that understanding, now come to the throne of grace. Boldly. Like you belong there. Like, no, it's not just the Levites that's in this temple anymore, this tabernacle. Now we all up for all 12 tribes right now until Yahweh come back and restore order. We are able through Yahweh to reach that throne of grace, right? That was 16. All right, so now let's go to Exodus 30 and 34. We're going to read on 38. All right, because there was something special about these incenses. It was something special about these incenses, right? And these incenses couldn't be duplicated. You couldn't make these incenses, you couldn't redo it, right? Only the high priest was able to make these incenses, and you couldn't touch them, right?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 38. Whosoever shall make like unto that, the smell thereto shall even be cut off from his people.
We're going to read down to are you ready? Read that again, slide. 34 to 38. So it's 34.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 34. And the Lord said unto Moses, take unto thee sweet spices, stace, and ancha, and galbanum. These sweet spices with pure frankincense. Of each shall there be a light, and thou shalt make it a perfume and confection after the art of the apothecary, temperate, together pure and holy. And thou shalt beat some of it very small, and put of it before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will meet with you. It shall be unto you most holy. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, you shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof. It shall be unto thee holy for the Lord. Whosoever shall make like unto that, to smell thereto, shall even be cut off from his people.
So you couldn't reinvent this instinct. It was a special unto the Lord. Don't that sound familiar? Right? If the incense was special to the Lord, what else? Let's go to a classic scripture, Deuteronomy 7:6.
Hey, Shemai, children, I know y'all getting restless.
We almost
Y'all gotta sit down, be quiet, please. Shemai, we almost done.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. But thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So just like those incense was holy unto the Lord thy God, his people was holy unto him, right? Read.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
See that? So your prayers are special to the Lord thy God. He hears your prayers before anybody else. Actually, he don't even care about the prayers of the heathen. So when you are doing what the Most High asks you to do, he's hearing your prayers. He loves it. It's a sweet savor in his nostrils when his people is praying, right? Let's go to I'm gonna go to Revelations 5 and 8 first, and then we're gonna get Revelation 8 and 2.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 5, and verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the four pieces and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
You see that? I'm not going to get into the other subject matter. I just want to focus. The focus point is how the prayers of the saints was in a vow. Right? Just like it's the exact same vow or the censer that the high priest used to use to light the incense in the tabernacle. Right? Read. Let's go to Revelation 8:3.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 8, and verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne.
You see that? The golden altar. What was that golden altar? It's the altar of incense before the throne. So he's hearing your prayers while he's on the throne. Keep going.
And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer, filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the fire, cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
So hey, I'm gonna end it there. I have to keep praying for the destruction of this place, right? This captivity. Keep praying for it, right? But also during this tabernacle, man, use these days to reconcile with the Most High Yahweh. Use these 7 days to really tap in with the Most High, right? And understand you're doing the exact same thing our ancestors did. Think about it. They was in 40 years around the wilderness. They had to reconcile with the Father the best way they could. They had to ask for forgiveness the best way they could. They failed, they tripped, but they kept getting up. You know, they kept missing that mark, though. But now through Yahushua, we have a chance to hit that mark, right? Um, and also just understanding what Yahushua sacrifice of sin, right? What his atonement truly means to us, and what it means to our nation in whole, togetherness. We're not the only ones that's keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. It's other congregations. It's other Israelites. We got a brother that's in Ghana that's keeping the tabs in Ghana. So it's people, you're not alone keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. It's a nation that is doing this together, right? So just imagine that, like we read about Balaam, right? We may not see it on the Lord level, but the most I see it with his all-seeing eye, right? And it's good that we're doing. And also, again, man, let's just remember the grace and mercy that, you know, what he had given us. And just pray that we stay in that gift that we get, all right? Other than that, that's it. Happy Feast of Tabs, man. And yeah, we can, I'm sorry that it was too long, but we do.
But I want y'all, like, come on. I just want y'all to pay attention to how the Most High work, right? Right. All of these, this is literally for the rest of the year, the last of the high holy days. Right. Shema.
Listen.
Right. This is literally the last of the high holy days. I want y'all to realize what month is in. It's literally in the 7th month. We say it all the time. The number 7 represents completion, right? This is literally the completion of all of his high holy days. And what's literally in this month? You have a memorial blowing of the trumpet. You know what I'm saying? To remember what? All of the wars. You have Day of Atonement to reflect on things that you need to atone for, whether it's personally or whether it's forgiving somebody. And actually, you know, to grow and be better. Then you have 7 days inside of the tent to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So look at the opportunity that the Most High gave us, and don't take these things for granted. You know, this is why Hebrews 10:25 literally says, don't forsake the assembly of gathering together. Don't forsake these high holy days, right? Because it's going to come a time when we're going to be in the wilderness. You ain't going to be able to walk right into your house from literally from keeping Feast of Tabernacles. You're going to be out there for maybe years at a time. Who knows? We don't know. So this is why we got to literally rehearse the righteous acts. You know, practice. This is practice. And this ain't the practice that L.O.I was talking about. All right, so with that, you know, I say, Shalawam.
Second.
Get out. Must be in unison.